There's some new patch notes in the PTR. That's the public test realm for Warcraft 3. So yes, there's still some changes occurring. Some nerfs, some buffs. Let's find out what's going on. Added a countdown timer to the UI for construction and training. That's actually going to be interesting to see how that looks. So you actually have like 44 seconds left, 22 seconds left. I'll tell you what, whilst I'm doing this, I'm going to update the public test realm. So I'll read through this and then we can have a little look at some of these things as well at the same time. Fixed an issue where map music would sometimes continue playing at the end of the map or during a cinematic. But did they fix the issue where the music plays and laps over itself when you load? Because that's another issue that I'm actually still currently dealing with to this day when I have to load a single player game or something like that and the music keeps on stacking. The Freeman says, happy birthday, best of wishes, may though remain true, faithful and loyal to the almighty Lamb and be filled with the Holy Ghost of the Prim. Yep, that's true. Yeah, it's my birthday today as I'm recording this. Fixed an issue where some triggers would sometimes not be saved correctly. Existing saved games may still have this issue, but any new ones should now be good. Fix an issue where going into a single-player custom game would sometimes put you into a multiplayer lobby. I don't recall getting that one, but that's a fun one. Performance. Optimized AI functions for finding build locations. Please watch for and report unexpected behavior changes. I mean, you might need to explain that to the common man, the layman's terms of what that really means, the optimized AI functions for finding build locations. Optimized heavy particle counts of some reforged VFX. That's going to affect a lot of us that are enjoying the reforged graphics. Visuals, updated reforged shaders, so players should see improved intensity of shadows and lighting. Added options for ambient occlusion and a bloom. Note that these settings will lower performance. I mean, performance is definitely an issue, so I'm not sure you want to do anything that's going to make it worse. Fix an issue where units with transparency are less transparent than intended when in water. Yeah, Reforged has this thing where the units almost have this kind of bluish, glowy kind of outer lining stroke around their structure, the outer lines. So, weird. Fix an issue where icons for custom skins would sometimes show their base icons. Fix an issue where units would sometimes be invisible after loading the save game. Well, that's good. They finally fixed that one. Although I think they kind of dealt with that a while ago, so maybe people are still having an issue. Existing save games may still have the issue, but new ones are good. Where's the issue? Custom unit portraits were so I hope this works. Custom unit portraits were incorrectly inheriting a portrait from their base units. So maybe now in Legion TD and other games, if you click on a unit like a wolf or something like that, it will actually look like a wolf, even though the map creator based that unit off an ogre, for example. Which is why that sometimes is the case. It will look like an ogre or something, or a default footman. But he's changed the rest of the stats to look like a wolf, except for the default icon. But, you know, we will find out. I'm just loading up the PTR. That already loads up smoother. The public test run always plays better than the actual real deal. So if we just go into a game, for example, and start building, I want to see that build time thing, because that's really good. That's a really good quality of life feature. Oh, I won. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. That's not quite what I thought it was going to be, though. I'll tell you what, though, that's a weird bug. I can rally this one, but I can't rally this. If I right-click, it does nothing. So, Blizzard, if you're watching, I doubt you are, but if you are, I don't know why that's happened, but the right-clicking the wisp from the Moonwell doesn't work. Oh no, that's, to be fair, you never could. Okay, no, fair enough, that's my fault. I was thinking it was the wisp that was going to be moving. It's because the Moonwell doesn't have a rally point. Sorry. I was getting distracted there. So, constructing, you can see the time ticking down. That's really cool. Very nice. But I think that would be much better if it's possible to have it hover over the actual building itself. That would have a lot more meaning, right?
Insufficient gold.
Does greed is good not work? Did I play this in multiplayer? Greed is good. Huh. That's weird. Cheats not working? Not for enemy buildings. No, you shouldn't be able to see what enemy buildings build time is. It should only be for you or your ally. So you look at your ally and you're like, oh, say for example, your ally's building his hero. You can see here 52 seconds left, but your ally can't see that. They just see this building, right? So what would be really cool? I know you've got like the kind of time here, but I think it would just be really cool if there's like a... You see the green bar? If there's a bar above the green bar or something, and you just had like either numbers or a countdown with the bar going down or going up. What do you think? You let me know in the comment section. Unless they have a shared control, perhaps, yes. If you stop building or your building is frozen by worm, you can click it. So human or undead, you crash for now. Well, that's a very specific issue. Do. And do we have access to a Legion TD here? Is this deliberate? I kind of like this, but I'm not sure this is deliberate. Maybe I haven't got round to that bit. But the menus are translucent, so you can actually see behind them. Don't know if that's actually supposed to be like that, but we'll take it, I suppose. There is a Legion TD, so for argument's sake, this is not the version, the latest version that I use, but this should still do the trick, I hope. It will show the adjusted time even if Warp 10 is active or if you have multiple buildings. Yeah, I think having those kind of quality life things, like I think in StarCraft, is it StarCraft 2 maybe does that, where you can see the units above the building being produced as well. So you can, not only can you see the timer, but you can actually the timer of what the building, what the unit is. Alright, let's just say, for example, PHGMCB. I assume cheats are still not working. Let's build a parrot. Let's build a warlock. Let's build a malformation.
More gold is required.
So the parrot looks like a parrot, the warlock looks like a warlock, the malformation looks like a malformation. Normally, it would look like a scout tower. Unless I got unlucky and all of the ones that I just built actually did have the proper icon before them. But I'm trying to build everything and show that it's actually showing. There's a locust. It looks like a locust, so that's correct.
Job's done.
Time Stealer. Looks like a Draenei. Would do.
Job's done.
That looks right. Click on the king. He used to be a scout tower. Yeah, well, he's not anymore. He's a grizzled veteran with a big white beard. So it looks like that's been fixed. Obviously, when we play custom games in the future, we'll find out whether that's truly been fixed. But that's good. That's really good. Good for them. These are issues that were plaguing and annoying us for quite some time. Okay, so we got to the world editor. This stuff is probably not going to be worth necessarily reading out unless you're very much into it. So I won't understand most of this. This is very much for the map makers. The following features can now be found on the map. Specific zoom. Okay. Added the ability to remove the deny from appearing. Okay. That's for more inclusive or whatever it is, roleplay kind of style, where you don't want to get distracted by icons popping up on the screen that don't fit the theme of your custom map. Hotkeys. Significantly increase the amount of bindable keys. Added new bindable commands for menu, game, replay, and observer commands. Right. I'm going to have to come back on and check on that, because there was a specific keybind that I wanted, which is quick save, to be adapted, as well as F1 to F6, because you can change F1 to F5, but you couldn't change the F6 thing. Anyway, I'll find out. Added a conflicts section in the hotkey menu to display any key conflicts. Oh, good. So that lets you know there's any issues. Clicking on a conflict will bring you to the relevant hotkey. Added support for non-QWERTY, non-English keyboard layouts while using grid. Okay. It does sound very much like they are actually really honestly addressing things that are definitely, well, they need dealing with. If you want to improve the quality of life for the player. I can see why they've done this patch, because in a couple of days' time, because I'm recording this on the 24th of June, the Game Pass, Warcraft 3 comes to Game Pass, so they want to reduce the chance of people complaining about things going wrong. Although I still think the campaign has bugs and issues, like you need to be always online, and then you can still get kicked out of games if you disconnect and stuff like that in a single player situation. Options. Okay, that looks more or less the same. Key conflicts. Neutral. I don't remember there being quite so many neutral ones here, but there you go. This is new. So now, maybe they do listen, because I don't know how many other people were yapping on about the ability to change all the type of hotkeys, like in StarCraft, where you can change your game menu, your allies chat, all that kind of stuff. Generally speaking, you wouldn't want to necessarily change that, but quick save you might want to change. Because if I use my hotkeys, my Let's Go's hotkey thingy, I might not necessarily need to if this is working properly now. Because my inventory, I do it like that. But notice how that's F8. I couldn't have this as F6 because quick save was on F6. So if I change this to F6... It says numpad 2. Hang on a second. That could be because I got my Let's Go's thing on. Key conflicts. Oh, there's got an issue there. F6. There we go. So F1, F2, F3, F4. So... quick save is F6, but it doesn't show as a key conflict, so it's not showing the player that this is a problem. You've hotkeyed something else that is already in use, so perhaps they still need to adjust that. Not the biggest deal in the world, let's face it, if you know what you're doing, and maybe you need to say, yeah, let's save it. F6, F6 isn't red, and it's still just talking about skeletal, these two on G, which I'm not too worried about. I'll come back, I'll go options, I'll go hotkeys, I'll go general, F6, F6, key conflicts. Technically it should probably show a conflict there, but let's just change that to F8 now for F quick save for argument's sake. So now I can have my hotkey. I might not even need to use the Let's Go's hotkey thing anymore. Oh, that was another thing, because you got this on F1, F2, F3. So whenever I press my inventory, it's going to mess around with my heroes. So I would need to... I don't know if I can unbind that. Clear. So now... because believe it or not, when I learned Warcraft 3, I did not know you could press F1, F2, F3 for your heroes. Some people had this issue. Maybe I should have worked it out. Maybe I should have just accidentally came across it. But I never thought to press F1, F2, F3 for my heroes. I don't remember the game teaching you to do that either. I don't remember the game saying press F1 to select your hero or anything like that during the tutorial. So I trained myself to put my heroes on 1, 2, and 3. So if I have 3 heroes, my army goes on 4, 5, 6, etc. So I go all the way down the keyboard. I don't press F1 and 2 and 3 for my heroes, and then my army's on 1, 2, and 3. So that's how it is. I'm like 41 years old now. As of today, it's my birthday. I'm probably too old and long in the tooth to change my ways. I could theoretically train my brain to learn it, but I don't kind of want to. So I'm going to stick to what it is I know. That's going to be that. That's going to be that. This is good. You can now Alt-QQ. Alt-QQ is a good one to press though, but if you want to change it, you got options, save, load, help, toggle, music. So you can change the Control M and Control S, which is quite good actually, because I think sometimes that conflicts with other things. Control group commands. Ah, look at that. You can change your control group commands as well. Does that mean you could have control group as a T? Wow. You got a red box around here because also T's going to mess with a bunch of units that use the hotkey T, like Stormbolt, for example, the hotkey there. But, or any units that are T. If you wanted to, you could put your hotkeys on like QWER and stuff. So instead of going all the way from 1 to 0, you could do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do QWERT for the remaining ones. In theory. But the problem with doing that is it means it messes up your other hotkeys. You could do mouse buttons. Maybe mouse buttons? So let's say, for example, do that as mouse 4, mouse 5, scroll click, which is middle mouse button for me. You could do shift. I don't know if you can do shift mouse 4, because I think I just tried shift mouse 4. I'll try control. They don't seem to have modifiers. So maybe that could be the next thing you guys could look into. It's like, this is really good what you've done here, so I wouldn't worry that much about it. But if people were going to be mega pedantic, you could have modifiers. Alt, Control, Shift. But that's a cool way to do it, is to get access to your buildings and stuff through the hot mouse buttons. You think mouse buttons don't work, or not always? Now with Alt and Control. It's difficult, but I'm sure it's doable. They are control groups, so they already have a modifier. Fridge! Thank you very much there for subscribing. Yeah, what I mean is that once you've assigned this to, say, for example, control mouse button 1, then every time you press control mouse button from that point onwards, or let's just say shift, you assign this to shift mouse button 4. Whenever I press mouse button 4, it takes control group 6. So I'm not pressing the control. I get what you mean. This is the initial modifier, control. But yeah, to select them, that's what I'm talking about. You got switch. There's actually quite a lot here. Switch subgroups. So that's tab to tab through. Put it on your tab. Select idle workers. That's a good one. Minimap ping. Terrain, ally color. That's really cool. All of these as well. Toggle health bars on and off. Center and last notifications. Zoom in, zoom out. Reset the zoom level. That was F5. That's such a weird one, isn't it? No one really knows about that one. Rotate the camera. Move the camera around. Toggle the heroes panel. Statistics panel. Production key. What is this in the menu? Oh, it's the observers. So when you're observing a game, you can actually have... That would be good for Neo, although I think he has his own personal setup because he's fancy like that. But I think that would be good once you get used to it. If you're someone that frequently watches replays, boom, 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 you can just press hotkeys now instead of having to kind of clunkily bring your cursor over and toggle on a tab and then drag it down and then select the thing. You can just show the viewer what you're looking for. Then there's replay commands. Increase the game. Oh, that's a good one. This one I might move to the other side of the keyboard. I won't mess with it now, but there are sometimes when I'll play single player games and I'll use all the hotkeys all the way up to 0, and then sometimes I accidentally press the minus key, and then I'm thinking, like, after about 30 seconds or so, I'm like, is it me or does the game feel slower? It's because I've accidentally pressed the minus key to slow the game down. So I don't want to touch those, basically. I'll move them out of the way. Auto camera. I don't know anything about an auto camera. Oh, well, maybe that's when you hold your mouse over the portrait when, say, a peon is moving from here to here, and then you'll have the camera just following that peon, which is really cool. What Warcraft he has. Yeah, this is really good. Very, very impressed with this. This is good quality of life right here. Loads of stuff here. Very, very good. So that's definitely a save. Okay, let's go back and have a look. So we got to this point. We haven't even got to the buffs and nerfs. Multiplayer. Fixed an issue with arranged team badges not displaying correct info. Issue with MMR and level not being displayed. Added MMR data to solo. Adjustments were made to how MMR gains and losses are calculated. I have honestly no idea how Battle.net multiplayer is working these days because I just don't play it. But I don't know. They had all the building block foundations to make it look interesting and build up, and the icons and the different ranks. But then when you actually played, generally speaking, it wouldn't reflect what you were doing. Like if you won a game, it would come up as a loss and all this kind of stuff. It was very jank. So, no idea. I don't think they've added any new skins, have they? No more -1. Yeah, that kind of thing. So you got profile, leaderboard. There's no one on the leaderboard, so we can't quite show that off how it works, other than go back to the original game. But I think you know what I mean. It's kind of jank. Can you guys hear me okay? Just let me know if there's any issues. Balance, all weapons. Actually, I'll tell you what, we'll go to the more somber. Frozen throne. Hey! That actually looks more like the original one. That looks better as well. I was going to say, that looked cleaner when I first came in. Because on... If you come out here... If you go into what I have on the current Warcraft 3, it plays like a WebM, which is kind of like the closest thing they've got to the original is a video of it, but it seems to be darker. The lighting isn't quite correct. So look at that. So you see the difference there? It's like the original, but it's not the original. My eyes know that's not the original. So see the differences here. And look how dark this is. And kind of how jank the flag looks. It's like, it's dark. It's missing a lot of the actual sort of textures that should be there. So you see that. Remember that in your brain. And I'm going to come out and go into the PTR. So it looks like they've actually brought back the... Actually... Ah, this is interesting. Yeah, the Infernals dropping down. Current live ROC background has no meteors either, nor sound effects. Yeah, it's all scuffed, isn't it? Something still looks a bit odd about this. It could just be that it's on a more modern computer now. So I can't quite remember the exact version, but this is more akin to the original. Something still looks slightly off about this bit for some reason. The reforged ones are just whatever. No one cares. But at least those, they actually sort of redid those to look more like the originals. In a way. Their own alternative. But this is much cleaner. This is like flapping around like nobody's business. And you can clearly see the textures are much more vibrant. They pop a lot more. But now I'm wondering... Did they fix the campaign? I think that looks better. It's hard to say because it's so dark. It doesn't look like it's a WebM playing. It looks like it's actually there. You know, like the original game when you used to load it up. That's why it was so good, because it was based on like... It wasn't using some sort of web UI or whatever to produce it. It does the camera move now. Yeah. Yeah, these look better. Oh yeah, the undead one. Oh, it's a shame I can't play the undead one. Hang on a second. Just click on that. Look at me, I'm so good. Is the cheat going to work though? Oh nice, it did. I'd love to watch the cinematic, but we won't. It will take too long. Okay. Come out of that. Have I got access to the undead now? Oh! That's better than... Yeah, I mean... I don't know if it's quite still right, or it's just because it's on a new monitor, not new monitor, but, you know, compared to when it was first coming out, maybe it looks different. But it's basically a lot more like the originals. So they've changed these as well, because if you ever looked at these were looking scuffed, to be honest with you, in the current version of the game. So these are now looking more like they should do in the original. It's the same, just a modern renderer, says Stone of Wood. Alright, now we actually get round to some balance changes. Can't wait to see that Blade Master get nerfed. All those Orc nerfs, this is going to be great. Balance. General. All weapons with a ground area of effect attack have the ward unit type added to their list of area of effect targets. All weapons with a ground area of effect attack have the ward unit type added to their list. So now you can cleave onto a ward, basically. Yes. Pulverize can now target wards. This is huge. Burning oil as well. Fucking hell! That's crazy! Grubby's gone too far. This is ridiculous. I can't believe he's got Blizzard to do this. Oh, there's no way they can let this go through. There is no way they can let this go through onto the live patch. This will just break the game. Where's the Blade Master nerf? Hang on a second. Where's text? That's what's missing. But they haven't put that in. Night Elf. Pick up Archer, mount Hippogriff, and dismount cooldowns decreased from 30 to 5. That's cool. I'm alright with that. It is obnoxious having to get back on. And it's a skill move to dodge abilities. When your Hippogriff rider is about to get killed by that last berserker spear that's flying through the air, and you dismount just before it lands, you can save not only the Hippogriff rider, you obviously save the Archer and the Hippo. So you can just send them off back to your base, wait for them to heal up, and then you've got that unit. So you can actually dodge projectiles that would otherwise kill you. And now you don't have to wait the whole 30 seconds to put them back on. Undead. Units resurrected by Raised Dead now have access to their abilities they had when they were live. That's the Undead Ultimate Raised Dead, I assume. Yeah, because it's resurrected. Disturbed potato. Potato.
Tabahu.
Tabaho. Thank you very much for the sub. Yes. That's cool. Because the Undead Death Knight Ultimate never gets used. And honestly, I'm still not sure if I'm going to pick it. I don't think I'm the meta, so I wouldn't go off of what I do. But if I ever get the Death Knight to level 6... I mean, there's a chance you might go to Death Pact if you want to play with your enemy, and there's a specific way to do that to debate them into going for your Death Knight, and then therefore you're mitigating damage, but that's a little bit pedantic. I would probably just generally speak and take the level 3 Unholy Aura, just because it's as much movement speed as you can get, and it's even more overall healing. Just better quality of life. Lich's Frost Nova range has been increased again. I think it used to be 850, actually. I can't remember. So now it's going back to being a little bit further, but I'm not sure if 750 was the max range. You can correct me if I'm wrong about that. By the way, Orc Peons spawn time freeze if you animate dead them and tell them to build. Orc Peons spawn time freezes if you animate dead and tell them to build. So you can keep them sort of alive indefinitely. Are they invulnerable when they're... Because you could kind of shift build a ton of things to sort of keep them busy. Would casters get resurrected with full counter? But does it check for upgrades if you don't have Shaman upgrade? Animate dead peons you can build. Yeah, there could be some issues with that. Neutral Pitlord Cleave can now target the wards. Dart range of drain life. Mana cost decreased from 50 to 25. That's kind of strong, to be honest. That's kind of strong. It's effectively going to cost pretty much nothing. You could be really aggressive with drain life. That is 25 mana is kind of nothing, to be honest with you. How much mana does she have when she comes out of the gate? She probably has like 250 mana easily. So she could do like 10 times. Could she just clear a creep camp by herself entirely now? You just take her straight over to like an orange creep camp or something and just keep draining life with like a full bar of mana. She actually might be able to, it would take some time, but she'd be able to do it, I think. Or she could just go for the big creeps and just suck them and get the item off them. Dart Ranger Drain Life self-damage type change from magic to universal. This will allow life drain to continue to transfer while the caster is magic immune. So that affects the Banshees and their anti-magic shell. So I think that's what that's referring to. Or anti-magic potion. Tinker Pocket Factory spawn interval decreased. So I think that's supposed to mean that they spawn that much quicker. So it doesn't take quite so many seconds for them to pop out. A little bit faster, but nothing too intense, so that's good. They didn't go too crazy with that, because there was a point where people were using that aggressively. Tinker Pocket Factory drop, harass, run off, rinse, repeat. Tinker Cluster Rockets max damage per interval increased. Max damage, oh wow. Goes from 100 to 200 at the start. Wow, that's literally a double in its damage on level 1. Okay. Brewmaster Breath of Fire damage increased. Wow. What? From 65 to 80? Breath of Fire max damage increased? What? Wait, is there a catch here? Breath of Fire area of effect from 125 to 25. Ooh. So it's got a way smaller radius somehow? Isn't it conal though? So how did they make it 125 to 25? I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Huh. Is it more single target now? It increases the damage a lot more. Brewmaster Breath of Fire final area of effect from 300 to 125. Breath of Fire could hit units that were significantly farther away than the visuals of the spell. Yeah, that's true. These changes make it so the area of effect are brought in line with the visuals. Oh, okay. The parameter controls the initial width of the breath, while the final effects to compensate for the nerf to range overall damage of the spell. I'm not sure this is going to nerf it too much more, because it's very good at dealing with buildings or people that spam towers. It's one of the best heroes. It's normally typically why you would get a panda as well. It's just like, if my enemy decides to spam a bunch of towers down, I can just walk in, Breath of Fire, rinse, repeat. But if the radius is like way smaller, you won't be able to hit the towers if they're spread out more. So you won't get as much effectiveness out of Breath of Fire. So I'll have to see how that plays out. Creeps removed Vampiric Aura and Death Coil from level 3 Skeletal Orc. So no more Vampiric Aura. Skeletal Orc says he's no longer as strong. Fiction issue with Tinker, stacking the effects of regeneration. Yes, I remember he had Soul 8 Man talking about that. Stacking up these regenerations and then killing them when he's in robo form, and then he comes back and he's got the continuing effects of those, so you keep doing that over and over. It's a shame. That would have been funny to abuse, but not something you can realistically pull off unless you find absolutely tons of rings of regeneration. Fix an issue where Demon Hunter Immolation would continue to drain mana. I like that one. Screw the Demon Hunter, he's annoying. Keep that one. Units that are hexed will no longer have a short window where the item bonus do not apply to them. Orb effects will now properly proc when units auto acquire targets. Okay. Orb is slow and orb lightning will now function properly if bought while silenced. That's a very specific issue. There's one other little thing to look at here. I'm not sure if this is in direct relation to this patch, but something Soul 8Man came across, so we're going to have a little look at this video, see if he explains it. But basically, new quality of life feature breaks Warcraft 3. And I'm not sure if this is getting addressed in this patch or not, or maybe I should even show this, because he might want to keep this, but he did say he wanted to have a look.
Blizzard added a very cool function. Look at this. When you are training a unit, you get a beautiful, beautiful countdown to see how long it will take. And it works on training units, it works on buildings. For example, this farm will finish in 30 seconds, but if you will power build the farm, it will finish in like 15 seconds. So that works amazingly. I'm putting another worker, the timer is working, you can cancel it, there is no problem. But I have one question. What happens if I start building, let's say a farm, it's 30 seconds until it's done, now I stop building it? And answer the question. What do you think is the timer now?
Because is it still counting down?
Nothing builds this farm. The power
I assume it's still counting down because it looked like it's just auto-adjusting to whatever's being applied to it. It's not taking into account the real-time effects necessarily.
This stop should be like frozen, should be like what should happen? And let's find out. Let's click on the farm. And we get the critical error.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is null in the calculation, ladies and gentlemen. And you may say, Sol, okay, so it's only for the human. Yes, but remember that we have also one more unit that I'm aware that can do something similar. And this unit name is Frostworm, with the power of freezing breath.
Yeah, you were saying about that, weren't you?
Can also stop. So, for example, remember it was a farm. You may say, okay, so it's only for the buildings. No, I'm just training a peasant, bro. And this Frostworm said, no peasants allowed. Is the game breaking? No, but let me tell you, is this peasant going out? Let's look for him. No, I see the door, but he's not going out. Okay, so let's check what is happening with the peasant. What is his estimated time? I click on the town hall and the game breaks. Blizzard will fix this 100%. But yes, remove the null calculation, please.
I see. So that's going to be a slight issue. Right. We get nice things, but obviously when you get nice things, stuff breaks. Hopefully they can get that addressed. And the countdown thing, like I say, I think is a lot more useful if it's displayed on the screen as part of the UI. For when you're looking at the barracks, you will see above the barracks an actual timer, an actual either like a bar going down, but preferably perhaps the seconds, and maybe showing what's being built as well. So it'll show a little icon, what's being researched, perhaps human sword, sword upgrade, and then that'll be the damage upgrade. So then you got a little countdown on that. But overall, there's a lot of quality of life stuff in here that can definitely make it much better for us. But they haven't addressed everything. There's always something. And the one thing that I can say off the top of my head is that one where when you load a map, the music will continue to play. It will lap. It will play the original soundtrack plus the next soundtrack because you've loaded it. And then when you load it again, then you got 3 soundtracks. Then you got 4, then 5, then 6, etc. So effectively, whenever I'm playing single player games where I might have to load them frequently, I either have to turn the music off or I just have to come out of the game completely and go back in just to reset it. But what happens if, as soon as I've done that, I then need to load my save after about 10 seconds? Then I've got that music overlapping again. So, yeah. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with this. And hopefully, I think, the team looked like they're actually addressing things. It's like we've been neglected for a long time, and they are actually addressing things that are actually important to the player base. So this is good to see. Good to see. Let me know what you think, and have a good one. Also type !cookies in twitch.tv/witty for a bonus video that I put on my Witty1 channel. Thank you, Toast and Tumba Umbra for the subs. Thank you. Oh, watch it.
WTiiHi.
This is what you get. Get some cookie action up in here. I actually made some brownies as well. Although they came out a bit weird, but, you know, they still taste all right.
Hello. I'm going to make this.